So assessment validation involves reviewing and evaluating assessment systems, assessment processes, assessment practices, assessment resources, and of course the final outcome. And validation can be applied to a range of assessment activities, products, and processes. So the purpose of validation is ultimately to create confidence in the VET system, confidence in the assessment outcomes. So where assessment is for the purpose of formal recognition and the issuance of qualifications or statements of attainment, it's critical that all parties have confidence in that assessment system. Now, national recognition can only exist if everyone accepts what all other RTOs do in their assessment practices are rigorous, and that every RTO and their courses truly reflect the content and the intent of the units of competency. Whoever the client is, they'll only invest in VET if they have confidence that it can deliver on the services provided, particularly in terms of the assessment. So we're going to do some revision throughout all of our modules now and build your knowledge about validation by working through the actual unit of competency on validation. So revision again, we've gone to training.gov.au, we've gone down and deselected now the superseded data, and we've entered in the code for this unit of competency. Hitting search. Triple checking again, yes, we're in the current version, and it is participate in assessment validation. Now, again, this is an entry-level course, Certificate 4, so this is participating in assessment validation. Now, you've actually, while I'm scrolling down here, you've already participated in assessment validation. We've done that earlier with Susan. We can see here it's already open. This was one example of a document. This was a validation report that you'd completed earlier on in this module. And if we can scroll down a little quicker, it had a stack of different questions about principles of assessment, rules of evidence. So look, it's one form, and you were actually participating in that process by commenting as an assessor, giving me your feedback on how user-friendly that form was. You see, when you validate, you are going to need to access the current training package units that you're validating. Okay, so we're just quickly scanning through all of the different components here. Alright, so this is where we'll be mainly working from during this unit as we look at the element on the left, and then we look more deeply at the performance criterion on the right. But before we even get to that, what are the required skills and knowledge? Bearing in mind we've integrated a lot of the modules, so we may have covered some of the skills and knowledge earlier in the module or in modules 1 and 2. So we'll have to make sure that we can map and know that the skills and knowledge are covered. And this, we're actually validating right now. Right, so let's go to the evidence guide, because you need to demonstrate that you can actively participate in a minimum of 2 validation sessions or meetings which address the critical aspects of validation using different validation approaches and activities. Well, you've already done one. You've done one for Susan already. So there's only one more to go. And this is part of it, because you need to be able to apply these processes, downloading the current training package, making sure that all of the components of a unit are covered. Now, you'll need to demonstrate communication and liaison with other relevant people. And remember, this is a simulated activity because you don't have a real work environment to practice in. We can then demonstrate equivalency of that. Now, you've already demonstrated some communication to me by answering a question earlier on in this module about giving me some feedback about how simple you felt that that validation report for Susan actually was. Now you need to provide feedback and interpret documentation in validation sessions. So we will be interpreting the validation documents, and you have already started to provide feedback, but we need it on 2 occasions. You also will record your contribution to the validation findings, and we do that in the validation report.